Hey everybody, day 5. Okay, one of my favorite maxims is people like us do things like this. And the person that said it was Seth Godin. And why it's one of my favorite maxims is because what you need to do is you need to start with people who the product or service that you're selling is a fit for them. So what you're looking for is, you're not looking for everybody, because your product is not for everybody. Whatever it is that you're selling is not for people who don't like that product. It's not for people who are not interested in it. And when you start a business and you start a service, your first thing is, I want everybody to have it. But when you go that route, what happens is you start to lose sight of exactly what you stand for. So it's really important to know who is your product for. Start with the smallest possible audience. So look at your target audience. Identify exactly who that is by their psychographics, by their demographics, where they live, what they like, what their interests are, what their hobbies are, what they do in the day, what their biggest challenges are. But start with the smallest audience, because if you start with the biggest audience, or if you start with everybody, then you get lost. And then not everybody buys whatever it is you're selling. So let me give you an example. If I'm an Android lover, I'm not going to buy an Apple product. If an Apple product is trying to sell to me, I'm not interested in it. If I go to, say, a thrift store, I'm not going to go to a luxury store. So you got to understand who your audience is. Just because you're the biggest brand, because maybe you're a Walmart or an Amazon, doesn't mean it's for everybody. They have a huge marketplace, but it doesn't mean it's for everybody. So you have to start with the smallest audience possible. I want to give you an example that my mentor gave me, and I think it might give you a direction with where this is going. So, the BlackBerry story, how that started. The BlackBerry story started with BlackBerry selling their BlackBerries to lawyers. Once the lawyers got it, they pushed that product onto their stockbrokers. When the stockbrokers got it, it went further down the line. When you start with the smallest audience, you're not minimizing your marketplace. What you're doing is you're actually making more headway this way, because when you start with the smallest audience place, it pushes to the next audience and then the next audience. But first, the smallest audience has to fall in love with what you're selling. So, at the end of the BlackBerry story, what happened? Barack Obama had it on the side of his hip, and that's where it all cascaded to everybody having it. You don't see a lot of BlackBerries now, but just to give you the idea, if they would have chased the whole market, they would have spent millions of dollars in their marketing, and they would have got nowhere with it. So I was listening to an entrepreneur, and her idea was to do this, I can't remember, I think it was this coffee thing. But I said, go and chase the smallest audience that is interested in this type of coffee. Because if you try to chase everybody, it's for nobody. And you're going to waste a lot of money, and you're going to waste a lot of time doing it. So, smallest audience, people like us do things like this. Thanks, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.